Hey everyone, I'm Joanne Smith and welcome to Joanne's Corner. In today's tutorial, we're going to be making a pot holder. So grab your sewing machine and your fabric and let's get started. Here are the materials you're going to need for today's project. Of course, we need our sewing machine. You'll need an iron, your ironing board, a cutting mat, your rotary cutter. I have pinking shears, my fabric scissors. You'll need clips or pins. I have some Insul Bright. You'll need a pencil or pen and a manila folder because we're going to make our own pattern. And you'll need an old oven mitt. You'll need, I have 2 fat quarters here. You're going to need fabric for the outside of your oven mitt and for the inside. And also from the inside fabric, we're going to cut a little piece to make this little loop here. So I think that's it. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is make our pattern for our oven mitt. So you can use a smaller size that's not as long as this one if you'd like. Just any pot holder will do. And we're going to take our manila folder and open it. And we're going to lay this oven mitt on top. And what we want to do is leave 1/4 inch all the way around when we trace it. Now we just cut it out. Next, we're going to take our outer fabric. I just have a fat quarter here and I'm going to fold it in half. And we need 2 pieces for our outer fabric of our oven mitt. And we need them to mirror each other. We need 1 thumb going this way and 1 thumb going this way. So this will give us the 2 pieces that we need. And you can pin this to your fabric or you can just cut it out freehand or use a rotary cutter. I used my rotary cutter to cut it out. And we have 2 pieces. And as you can see, they mirror each other. Next, we're going to do our lining fabric the same way. We're going to fold it in 2 and put our template on it and just cut this out. And our pieces are going to mirror each other on this too. Next, we're going to fold our Insul Bright and we're going to cut out 2 pieces of Insul Bright from our template. You need to cut out a 2 by 6 inch piece of fabric. This will be for your little loop, and I have cut this out of my lining fabric. So you should have 2 pieces of outer fabric, 2 pieces of lining fabric, and 2 pieces of your Insul Bright, and they all need to mirror each other. And what we're going to do is start putting everything together. So we're going to start with our lining, and we need to put our right sides together. And you can pin or clip this. If you have any rough edges at the bottom or around the sides, just trim those off with scissors. Now we're going to sew our lining pieces together. So we want to start down here and do a back stitch, and we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam all the way around. So we'll back stitch and sew all the way to right here. Then we're going to back stitch and cut our threads, and we're going to leave about a 4 inch opening right here so we can turn it. And then we're going to back stitch right here and sew all the way to the end and back stitch. So we need to back stitch and then sew. And just take your time when you're going around these curves. You can lift your presser foot and pivot when you get to a little curve. Now we're going to stop, back stitch, cut our threads, and then move on down about 3 or 4 inches. Put our presser foot back down, back stitch, and then sew to the end and back stitch. Now you can take your pinking shears and just go around the edges. Don't cut into your stitch line, but just cut and get rid of some of that bulk. And just go all the way around. If you don't have pinking shears, that's just fine. You can just trim off the excess. And when you get to this little corner here, you want to use your scissors and make about 3 or 4 cuts in that corner without cutting into your stitch line. That way it moves more. It's more open. And then just continue on around with your pinking shears. Now we're going to attach our outer fabric onto our Insulbrite. And if you notice, Insulbrite has a really shiny side and a dull side. So we want this shiny side to be on the wrong side of our fabric. So we're going to put that down. And I forgot to mention that you'll need some basting spray. And what we're going to do, we're going to take this to our sewing machine and we're going to quilt it. So just put some basting spray on there, just enough where it'll hold it down while you stitch. And we're going to do that to both pieces. Then we're going to take it to our sewing machine and do some free motion quilting. You can do little designs, you can do lines, you can measure it off or whatever you want to do, but I'm just going to run a few lines just freehand on mine. Now I've got my quilting done. As you can see my lines, I just did some just easy standard lines. Just trim up on the outer edge if you have any rough edges. And then we're going to sew this together. We're going to put right sides together of our outer fabric. And we're going to clip it all the way around. And then we're going to start sewing. We're going to back stitch. And we're going to sew all the way around using a 1/4 inch seam and then back stitch at the end. Now these are thick layers, so just take your time. Now we're going to trim off the excess just like we did on our lining. And just don't cut into the stitch line. And we're going to trim right here in the corner. Make about 3 little cuts here. And don't cut into your stitch line. That way it'll make it move more. And then just continue with your pinking shears. Next, we're going to fix our loop. So take your little piece of fabric that is 2 inches by 6 inches, and we're going to fold it and press it. And then we're going to open it, and then we're going to fold each side in to that middle crease and press that on both sides. And then we're going to fold it once more and press it again. And we're going to take it to our sewing machine and just run a little stitch right down this edge here. Now we're going to put our pot holder together. And what we're going to do is take our outer fabric, we're going to reach in and get a hold of the end, and we're going to turn it. And just stick your hand in there and push out all the seams. And push out the foam. After you get all that pushed out, then just put on the pot holder, and we're going to stick it inside of the lining. So just open up the lining. And stick your hand down inside of it. And just work that up over it. And you'll have the right side of your lining touching the right side of your oven mitt. And just do that until you got it all the way pushed in there. And we need to line up our seams. And what we're going to do with this seam, let's see, we want our loop on this edge. So we're going to line up our seam on this edge, and we're going to take our little loop and we're going to fold it, and we're going to stick the loop part down inside, and our raw edges are going to be along with the raw edges of this, and we're going to just put it right there where that little seam is. Just line all that up and clip it. Then we're going to flip it around to this side and line up our seam. And clip it. And just line up the rest of your sides and clip those. And we're going to take this to our sewing machine, and we're going to sew around the top about a 1/2 inch seam. And you can start in your seam. I like to start at the seam and back stitch and sew all the way around and back stitch again. Now the opening of the pot holder is a small hole, so it probably won't go around the base of your sewing machine. So I'm going to sew this on the inside, and just start right here and back stitch, and then start forward. And just take your time because it is a lot of layers, and then just move it as you go. I ended up doing a 1/4 inch seam around the top. You can do 1/2 inch if you'd like. Just do whatever's comfortable for you. And then I'm going to take my pinking shears and just trim close to the seam line there, and just trim some more of that bulk away. After you've trimmed off the excess, now we're going to reach through this hole that we left open in our lining. And we're going to reach in and turn our pot holder, and just do it real easy so you won't rip anything. This is my favorite part. And just reach in with your hand through the lining hole and poke out your seams. And then poke out the seams of your lining. And this thumb hole takes just a minute. It's a little aggravating. There we go. Okay, it should be looking like this. And now we're going to close up our hole, and we're going to tuck these edges inward. You can finger press this, or you can just press it with an iron. And I'm going to use my clips and just clip along through here, and we can go to our sewing machine and run like an 1/8 of an inch stitch across through here and just close this up, and then we'll be finished. Just be sure to back stitch and then sew across through here and then back stitch at the end. After you sew up the hole, grab both sides and pull it apart to make sure that your hole is closed up. Then we're going to tuck this back inside of our oven mitt all the way to the end. Get your little thumb situated in there too. Get it poked in there. And you can take this to your iron and just press it real good. And if you notice here at the end, you can push the lining in toward the inside, and then just press that with your iron, just like so. Or if you want to leave it out, if you want to pull it out a little bit and have like a little edge there, you can do that. But that's how you make a pot holder. If you've enjoyed my video and my tutorial, please like my video and subscribe to my channel. And we'll see you soon.